Hello, welcome to Retro&Modern, where we play chuckle wires with electronics. Today we have a Kenwood mixer thing.
Yes.
We have plugged it in and moved a little switch over the side.
We can show it. I've got a plug socket ready.
It doesn't bang. I mean, that's all of the settings.
They can't see the bit to show it doesn't spin. There you go. Let me do that.
All the different settings. All the different numbers.
Yeah. And you don't do anything.
No, it literally spinning around.
Now, we have done a bit of research. Let me just unplug it. We've checked the fuse. The fuse is good because we didn't want to open it up and go, oh, it's the fuse.
But we still haven't opened it and actually checked it.
No.
Continuity end to end, but yeah. A little bit of research did do. Gonna have to lift this up. This thing's heavy. Yeah, this thing's really heavy. I don't know if it's going to show.
Yeah.
Yay! Ooh! I will balance it.
For me.
No, those, all those screw things there, we've got to undo all of those.
Yeah.
So you can take this whole bottom piece out, or top piece off, whichever way you want to look at it.
Yes.
This is a hollow. Which does answer the other thing. No, there is not
A sensor.
a sensor.
We wanted to check there wasn't a sensor for the mixing bowl because some of them do, to make sure you're not going to put your fingers in.
Yes, this is the MX310 series.
Yes.
Well, so we need
to lay this down because
that down because it is so big
and heavy.
and yeah, it's definitely heavy.
But we've shown you what we're doing, so you know.
Glad you know more than me. Right, now where does this? That's it.
Get those screws undone.
I would do. But A, I can't see
Hey,
the
job,
top of it. And B, that's would be the wrong size.
We'll try again.
Oh, blimey, governor.
They're a bit tight.
Yeah. That was very tight. There's a screw. And a washery thing.
One down, 5 to go that we know of.
And obviously the strap thing in it. Bolts on
Good thing with these.
Oh, it's quite thick.
Good thing with.
Oh,
It's true. There's that little strap thing we were talking about. The good thing with these mixers is there's not really an awful lot going on.
right, it's not.
But there's not. It's a motor,
Gearing.
switches. Well, not really a switch. It's from what I've seen, it looks like an old-fashioned slide mechanism. 2 little contacts.
Reach in to try to get it. It's the 2 end ones done.
Yes, I think it's the middle ones that matter the most.
Well, but, oh, it's greasy.
And they all do to an extent, but
Yeah.
I think it's actually only the middle 2 that actually hold the head on. I think they're the only ones that you have to undo. The other ones are end cap the bearings.
I'm getting RSI from doing this.
I would love to have shown you, but it's so deep inside. It's too awkward.
I've got to keep going in, climbing in, and then I've got to climb back out. I'm not seen for a while. But I better be careful now, this is the last one.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's going to do.
Well, luckily, not a lot because it's on a desk. You should take that cap off. No, in theory, there should
Nothing
be.
there. Oh, something come out?
Yeah, just a little peggedy peg came out when I done that. So,
Oh, you know where it's come from.
of course I don't. There. Just so you can see. Little hole up there. Right, we can get rid of the big heavy base. But yes, we only have to undo those middle ones. The other ones are just caps.
Yeah. The bit we saw said you undo everything. So we undid it. I said, you make loads of noise. That's
I'm making
fine.
loads of noise.
Well, I'm just going to slide this off because that's just going to fall off anyway. So we know that goes
That way.
way round.
Yes.
On video, so we know.
Then we should be able to flip this on its back and reveal more screws. Let's just reframe it and then we'll get a nice focus.
Right, so there's there. Yeah, I can see one.
Focusing.
Two. I'll take it there's stuff hidden underneath these too.
I have no idea. Potentially.
And then we need an Allen key if we want to take that off.
We don't need, that's just for gearing. That's all that's in there is the gears.
Have a look. Oh, no, you're joking me.
Different screws again.
There might be. Do you?
To me.
It's double-ended screw.
And then rotate a bit so I can see a bit easier myself. Yeah, that's wrong.
Well, the other one's bigger.
Yeah, and the other one might be a bit too big, potentially.
And I've got another one. Yeah.
Again, for anyone that hasn't watched any of our stuff, we are not professionals. We do
Don't
this.
try this at home.
We do this because we think it's fun.
We don't advocate anyone else copy this because.
Well, they can try repairing stuff themselves, but please don't use our videos as a how-to unless we release it as a how-to. No, that doesn't like that either. I don't think any of yours are good enough for this job. That's slipping. That is slipping a lot.
Oh, that one fit. Just going to turn it over. Two screws feel different to each other.
That wouldn't surprise me, mate.
Yeah, that's doing it.
Hey!
I wouldn't have thought that would have been the one.
No, seemed a bit big.
Well, that's the biggest one that this set got as well. Oh, well, it seems to be undone. You?
Right. Definitely more holding it.
These things?
Yeah, so let me just get the old spudger out. Let's just see if we can...
Pop one out. Oh, well, they're definitely coming up. I'll get ready to grab
There
it.
you go. Blimmin' big.
Yeah, they've got a big plug.
And yes, there are screws in those. I don't know if the other ones are going to matter, the little ones.
I'm hoping not.
Let's get those screws out to you.
To me. All right. I'm not different again, surely. These don't even go anywhere near these screws. They look smaller. It's because they are.
So every screw is a different size.
Not running a screwdriver tip.
Okay, let's see if that's done anything for us.
Well, we need to get them out, eventually. I don't know if they're still holding on.
I just wanted to see if... This definitely won't pry it open. I just want to see if there's
Snap.
any
Yeah.
sort of give at all. And then, no. So unless they're still holding a lot, there must be more.
They're not magnetic. Oh no. We need to tip it, and I don't know if they're all going to come out or not. One has. That one's undone. That was the top one. Bottom one. Definitely feels loose to me. Yep, that's loose. Uh-oh. No, I'll change it so I don't know if you have to.
Yes.
Right, let's see if I can get. I might not. It might be nice. I might not have done them well enough. But because they suddenly just stop being tight, you don't know when they're
Ready to release them when they're not.
yeah, especially if they're not sticking to the screwdriver. That's out.
What I want to check, did this come out in any meaningful way?
I have no idea.
No, that seems to be pretty captive, I would say.
Oh, that's just up on bit.
Yeah, it doesn't attach to that.
Just
There's still more holding this somewhere.
You have to pop these other two little ones
Yeah, it's,
just to see. I'd potentially use the other end, yeah, because these are very small. They're probably very deep. Go on, tell me.
screws, different size. Potentially.
No,
Nope.
the big bit. Oh, blimey, these go right through the other end, don't they?
You've unscrewed our disc, man. That's what you've done.
Oh, sorry. I'll leave it out then. Oh, it's the top that comes off.
Yeah, the top will come off. What we've seen.
Can't get this all the way out. Have your thingamajig.
Ugama flip. Technical terms.
That screw's definitely out. To you again.
There's something holding that, mate. There's still something holding it, if you ask me.
What? I think we might have to open this just to make sure there's not anything hidden inside this way.
No, there's not. That's just into the planetary gearbox. That's all that does for you.
Or is it this? Something here? I don't even know how that's held. I thought that would have just popped off of the lid.
Yeah, that is supposed to pop off with the lid because there's nothing under there.
I would have thought, taking all these screws out, the whole lid would just slide off.
I mean, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? 'Cause I believe
Oh,
that
yeah, I
feels
was hoping.
attached.
I don't want to be failed on the repair because we can't get in. Yeah, that's definitely attached.
That definitely feels attached.
That's probably attached to the inside.
Yes.
But what's holding the top?
But let's go to the back end and let's start from the back. So there's definitely something holding this. In fact, I can see a big post inside.
The big boot?
Yes, right in the middle there.
Okay, but where's that coming from?
It's coming from this sort of area here. Fortunately, we can't get this part out. So if that came out, we'd be laughing.
What's the little end piece here? You put it down, you know, it come off the no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. That's just the captive end of the shaft. This slides up and down. We've loosened that. We've loosened that. Well, we can undo that, but that won't be holding the top on.
Allen key's down there.
I'll say that won't be holding the top on.
No, but
And we have to be careful because this is where all the grease is, and we don't particularly want to lose all the grease.
well,
Because we don't-
more grease in it. Because we've already had someone fix it. And we'll get it working. When we get it working, it's been did.
Well, if at this point, mate, our success and failure rate is pretty much 50-50 by the time we're
Well, it depends.
recording this.
If you count the ones that you know, oh look, this works already.
No, I don't count those because we
I do
didn't,
because it makes my stats look better.
we didn't even get to do anything with it.
We can check there's actually a decent amount of grease in there anyway.
Oh, but there's not a lot because it's special grease. There isn't supposed to be a ton.
Yeah, no, there should be enough there to...
Note that is attached to the rest of this whole mechanism, the ones to move.
The one I saw, the boat that took the screw and pulled it off.
Take the screw off this slider.
Well, I'm going to have to whiz out. I'm afraid. Once you endeavour to see if you can get the last of the screws that we keep finding out.
That just takes that apart. Not that it's to do anything, but just in case we need to move this thing, I want to have that loose. Let's put that screw back in there to keep that all together for now. So, we've taken all the screws out of there. But this whole thing, yeah, that's attached to that back piece, because that's trying to move with it. We need to somehow get this top and this bottom part. There we go. That's moved a little bit, guys. Whether or not it's moved enough, nobody knows. But we have indeed got a little bit of movement. About the side with that. Let's rotate this a bit more. See if we get any more of this casing that wants to come off. So it feels to me like something is holding it around the back here. Because we got a decent gap in this front half. The front half's opening up lovely. Something still holding around the back here. Just trying to pinpoint where it could be.
Come back.
There's something holding on the back half. I've got all the front half nice and loose. And I think it's actually this catch that's stopping me getting off the rest of the way. Potentially. There's something at the back that's definitely holding.
Did you cheat and use a hammer whilst I was gone?
No. There's something at the back we've missed.
Can I have a look at it?
Because the front have got apart.
Yeah.
So you just can't get the back apart.
So that just lifts.
Yeah, that's part of this whole mechanism. Once the top comes off, that whole thing comes out in one go.
So you can't have a hidden screw in there because you can't get that out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can take that off, at least you could get behind if there's something behind there, but I don't think that. Can't see anything. You just have there's something holding it at the back. That would suggest there's another screw, but it can't be. You see there. That's it. So you lift that up, keep it up, can you get any?
No.
There's something there,
That's what I said.
but there's no signs. I can thing, a big long bit that you're on about, but there's no exit point for it.
Yes, there is.
Well, you might have to look up and find a lid off then.
There's no guide for it, that's one.
It's not, they'll never be able to read it, therefore. So what stopped that continuing going up? That pin I would have thought would have been helping here.
Can I look at something quick? So that side there's free. That does that. That does that. No pin in that side. Nothing marked there. I'll try and angle it a little.
Be some stupid little bit.
Some kind of mechanism in there that holds that all together. I do not know how you take it out without just ripping it to pieces. But there's definitely a screw hole under it, I've just seen it.
So there has to be a way of getting it off.
Yes. Feel free.
What? Anybody's guess. I need to get that just up enough to get past that. Again, don't want to be too violent with it, do you? It'd have to go past that pin, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. The mechanism holds in below that. It's below that pin.
Like that.
And there's that screw hole I said about.
It was just a little tweak.
Now we should be able to hopefully separate the casing, take the top off, and get the bottom out of the way.
Little screws holding that stuff on.
Yeah, I know. But I was saying it's not something you can separate.
No, you have to get inside first. Not sure that one came off, it should have popped up.
There's the screw.
Yep, leave that.
Now, here is all of our mechanisms.
Now, have you seen the
So,
frame relief mechanism?
yes. So the first thing I personally would want to test, because it's going to be this switching. Let's just get those screws out of the switching link so we can take the switch out and have a look at it. Because from what I've seen, this seems to be the very old standard with the two metal platey things that, if they don't make a good connection,
The screws are needed.
yeah, I know. They would just hold this and
Actually, probably the two small ones at the front are the same.
yeah. Is that going to pop out? Yes, it is.
Enough. Possibly.
Because what you've got is a long bit that doesn't actually really do anything in terms of
dirty.
some form of connection, but this bit is relevant. The bit you care about with these, just put those in the lid, keep those safe. They're different. And then we're going to need a smaller screwdriver for the next bit. Is actually under that little, let me gonna have to the camera to focus on it because it's not doing a great job of that at the moment. Let's just force it to focus on the bit we're working on, hopefully. Come on. That's better. Is in here. The sliding mechanism will just move a wheel between different positions. And that wheel will have 2 electrodes that link it. Now again, this might not be the problem, but it's worth checking first. Right, so we're going to take apart from this side as well to get into the bit that we want to look at. So let's start tearing the switch down. Like I said though, this might not be the problem. But it's always good to make sure that the switch works before we dive in too far. If it turns out that the switch if the switch doesn't work, then none of the rest of it's going to do anything. Ain't it?
Mm. Trying to do that, it doesn't spring out.
Yes. I'm also keeping an eye on my fingers are. Because there are some lovely caps over there that I do not particularly want to touch. There's actually more going on in this mixer though than I thought there would have been.
Doesn't surprise
There's
me.
not a lot in terms of actual...
Basic speed control on that, isn't it?
Yes. You know, all of this bit from here to here is your motor.
And gears.
Yeah. You know, that's pretty much your motor setup because this is just a motor where the gears are separate. And here we go. So, the way these work is, there we go, we'll take that bit off. You have all of these connections.
And speeds.
Yes, and this centerpiece is what rides along them. And it needs 2 connections. And I don't think you'd get 2 connections. Just looking at the sheer distance between those 2. If you see what I mean, they're not on the same level.
It's silicon grease or something.
Now we've got to work out how this all goes back together again afterwards, but that looks a lot better now, doesn't it?
Mm. I've done just bent the metal out a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe a spring in that goes in first.
Unfortunately, as with most of the cases with stuff like this, it likes to sort of throw itself apart. Which
Yeah, because the spring
there,
comes there, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's how that bit there works. Which means I believe you actually put this post in first. So you'll have your post in the middle, your spring with your little geary bit goes on top.
That just gives basically your locking positions.
And this is basically the old school wiper system, isn't it? How they've done this?
Yeah, it's a wiper, but
And that goes in there. And there's your
you've got to make sure you get in the right position, no?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
sometimes
when you put the slider on, it's going to be in the wrong place.
I'm guessing they've designed a way for it to work, but I don't know which way is which. That's the only thing. None of this says which way is off.
Well, they've got a straight edge, haven't they? They've done on it.
Yeah, on this, but not on there.
Yeah, I know.
That's
The
what I'm
straight
saying.
edge would have said something to them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but not to us.
Trial and error. We get enough positions, I suppose.
Yes. Unless you can think of any other way of doing it.
Not without knowing exactly which way it's supposed to go. And you'd need to know that when you took it apart. It's probably got an infinite active bit on it. Yeah. There must be a position it stops at, or that just keep
No,
going.
it will keep going. It's this that physically stops it, look. At the ends.
Oh,
Yep.
well, we'll have to just try and error a few times. But soon no, because it's got a set number of speeds, hasn't it?
Yes.
If we don't get all of them, we know we've got it in the wrong place, we've got to move it. But you shouldn't have to take the whole thing apart each time to do it.
Well, you will, because
No, then you don't need to take that off.
if that comes off when you undo the screws, it flies off. Happened to me when we took it apart. This is very quickly. I think this might be it to you. This goes this way up. It is a very fiddly job. Trying to put all that back together. There we go. And then we need some of those screws back. I'm going to have to hold it.
Oh, you want to get it plugged in, it's going to have to be done. It's got to be done in mid-air, unfortunately.
Oh, well, putting it all back together to test it.
Nothing. No, absolutely nothing.
Unplug. Want to make sure that's probably plugged in because I'll just chug that.
No.
Unplug.
So that's going to take a little bit more looking into to see. I'm assuming that's the standard earth from there. The neutral is there. Well, the live's done through that switch.
Mm-hmm.
So if that switch isn't actually in the right place, so I'm assuming that switch holds it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you move it, then goes on and allows the connection to make.
Wait a sec. I think we've done this wrong. I think I know how you line the flat up. I think I now know a little bit more about how this switch works. Oh, put that in the off position, so I'm guessing it's the one where it falls down a bit. Essentially. This is what connects onto there. Now we need to know if that switch is a push to make or push to break, really, but we line the flat up with there. Once I can get this all to seat back down again. Like so. On the off position is further back it goes.
Yeah.
So let's assume we were right on how on that other bit being needs to be not pressed for it to work. And that would then allow us to line the flat up, wouldn't it?
Mm. If not, we might have to meter the switch.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would let us know if it's push to make, push to break. It does give me another idea though.
Mm-hmm. Being?
We could make sure that's in a position, and then don't put the switch in and take the switch and manually operate the switch if needed.
This isn't all going together properly at all. Now that isn't making contact, but that could be because...
The whole thing's popped out the hole again, hasn't it?
Yep. Well, unfortunately, I don't have 50 pairs of hands. Right, try to put screws in whilst holding it.
But you've got to hold that and then get the other bit in place at exactly the same moment in time.
Well, the issue is trying to put the screws in whilst you're holding it. It's very difficult.
Especially a all off the drive screwdriver.
You'll have to do it.
As I can't see it at the moment. Well, which was part of the issue. That should be enough to hold it together.
And that was moved out of the off position. Take it apart again. Start again. You want flat there. Back in the far left position. It goes on. It can't be slid across, even though it does get in the way. If it's slid across, it's no longer in line where it needs to be. That screw has to come out. Can't keep screwing that there. That goes there. That switch can come out, so we know we can put that in afterwards. That needs to be as far left position.
A screw. In. I'm assuming it's a push to brake. If that's all the way back, then that's pushing the switch in, isn't it?
Well, no, it's got the gap there at the moment.
Oh, it's got a gap in it.
Yeah, that's where the flat is at the moment. Because the flat's only on one side, so it can't be that it pushes in every other position, because
No,
there wouldn't be enough positions. Therefore, the only one that would make sense to me is in the off position. Right, let's give that another test now that we've put that back together.
It's up, there we go.
Nothing plugged in. Nothing so far. Back to the off position.
Right, that's what I was going to.
You got hold onto the plastic bit, don't you?
Yeah,
It's still plugged in.
Yeah, I know. But this is earthed anyway, so. Don't know. Hang on.
It's on.
No.
It is, but then we disconnected that. What did you do that on? Did that start up?
I did nothing. Seriously, I did nothing. I was holding this up and I was doing that looking, Unless it's a fracture on a wire here, and I just moved it and re-linked.
Hard to say. One thing we do need to do is get the planetary gearbox. Yeah, at the moment, see that's loose on the shaft.
I'm not sure where that went. Is that underneath this?
Yeah. That's the screw for that.
No, that's a didn't fit on.
It might be, I don't
On the
know.
bottom.
Don't know. I handed you bits for that. And that was bits I found underneath afterwards. Let's try and get this back into its seating position. But the thing is, I don't know which position is the seating
It doesn't
position.
show, does it?
There we go. Well, the shaft is disengaged, which
And I'm assuming that would have went in with that.
I'm guessing so. I don't know.
Because that would be a nice
Seal.
seal, wouldn't it? And don't forget that is an area that potentially gets.
I wouldn't really get wet.
No, but you might get bits of flour and gunk up there.
Right, that's reconnected. Let's give that another try.
No, I can keep that.
Get in the off position. No, not yet.
That's in that position now.
Ready?
Yep, I shall hold into this.
We are plugged in.
That's
Not.
No, actually stopping.
Yes, it is. We might have fixed it. I'll go up one speed. Up another one.
Didn't make any difference to that. Definitely does there.
Yeah. The other ones are probably like incremental differences, aren't they?
Ah,
It has to go into
I
the.
know what's wrong.
Yeah. What's that?
We haven't put the other screws in.
Yeah, I know that.
If they allow me to wobble, and as I wobbled, I had the switch click.
Yeah.
Well, we put it back together. Twice.
Because
The switch.
the switch was one position out, so we had to rebuild the switch to be in the right place. We can't tell you how to know it's in the right place. What we did is we undone the screws that held the all on just a little bit, just so then we could, because it was the
One
off position. Yeah, the off position was on 1 rather than 0. So we put it in position 1, which should be position, which is really
First
position 0 on there. And then we just lifted the push down on the gear, slid it back,
And then dropped it back
dropped it
so
back down,
re-engaged.
and now it's in the right place.
Hopefully.
Yes, but
It should be.
we should be able to get this easier to show,
Yep.
like that. Should work. There wasn't anything that seemed to stop it working. And then we plug it in.
That's all off.
Let me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Position 1. And there you go. We'll work to the top there. And all back to 0.
And very noisy.
Yeah, very noisy, but
But it works. The first fix that we've actually managed to finish so far.
God, that is quite stiff, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to release the.
It's heavy too.
Yes. But that's it.
It's
We
done.
hope you enjoyed it. Our first time we actually have fixed something so far.
Yeah. But it'll be one of many.
Hopefully.
But not these.
Not
We
these.
don't really want to work on these
Ever again.
again, hopefully.
It was fiddly. And
Yeah, a bit too fiddly.
all the issue was the wipers on the switch weren't making contact.
Yeah, they bend over time.
So we hope you got some enjoyment out of it, or saw something that helped you fix your one,
Or just had a laugh at our
or just
expense.
had a laugh at our expense. But we will see you next time.